Hi guys, and welcome back to My Dank Dog. This is episode 7 of My Next Grow inside the Vivosun VGrow Smart Grow Box. Let's get into it. Hi guys, before we get into the VGrow update, I'm currently doing a bit of homework on DWC, deep water culture. I've got a new grow starting shortly with the Vivosun Grow Tent Pro kit and a DWC hydroponic system. So I'm reaching out to you guys, the community, for any tips and advice. It's my first DWC grow, and you guys have all been fantastic with your help and advice in all of my grows up to date. So please comment below with any of your tips and tricks. Thanks. Just as a quick reminder, we are growing blackberry moon rocks inside the Vivosun VGrow Smart Grow Box. And if you guys are interested in any Vivosun products on their site or Amazon, you can use my 15% discount code, MyDankDog. There's a lot to catch up on. It's been 2 weeks since we've done a growth update on this lady, so we're going to go over that as well as a recap of the accessories that we added to the VGrow Smart Grow Box last week. One of the accessories was a AeroWave 4-inch clip-on fan which connects to the Smart Grow Box via USB and also controlled by the Grow Pilot Smart app, as well as the FlexFeed drip irrigation system which you may have seen me installing last week. So we have a week of growth before me installing these accessories and a week of growth after me installing these accessories to go over, which we're going to do next. I've also got another accessory that I haven't fitted yet, which is the Vivosun AeroStream 750ml USB humidifier. Haven't installed this into the Smart Grow Box yet, but I will be doing that probably next week. But again, it's pretty stylish, and as you can see, it's connected via USB to the Smart Grow Box and controlled within the Smart app and Grow Pilot. So stay tuned for that next week. Okay, let's get into it. This is the growth period between October 7th and October 10th. And as you can see, she was looking a little bit light, a little bit yellow. So I was keeping an eye on it. It didn't quite look like a deficiency. She was still starting to grow her fan leaves and stretch. So it was early days yet for me to start to be concerned about how light the leaves were. And as you can see, she started to grow up pretty nicely and stretch out. So I didn't have too much concern. Then we installed the AeroWave clip-on fan and connected that to the Smart Grow Box via USB, as well as the drip irrigation kit. And we installed that into the water well where we keep the water reservoir and the nutrient mix for the self-wicking, self-watering system. And as you can see, those are the laces where the water and nutrient mix are absorbed up and basically wick into the bottom of this fabric pot. But now we've got two systems watering this pot, the self-watering wicking system from the bottom, as well as the drip irrigation system that's connected to the USB at the top of the VGrow Smart Grow Box, which is now feeding our plant from the top. So those are basically the updates that we installed last week. The lady is good to go. Everything is installed and connected to the Grow Pilot and Smart app. So it was time to give her a little bit of a trim, just getting rid of those unwanted little first true leaves and cotyledon leaves at the bottom there as a kind of precursor to the Lollipopping, which would be the next stage once we fit the trellis net. So basically I had to wait till she grew a little bit taller before I could install this trellis net. So it wasn't quite matching with the timeline of the Smart app and Grow Pilot, but that doesn't matter. You can just wait until you're ready. Pretty easy to install this trellis net via the magnets, and as you can see, she's just nudging up through it at the moment. So we're going to wait for her to grow a little bit taller before we start to follow the LST instruction video there. We're still a little bit kind of early days yet, but what I am going to do is just bend the plant over slightly, and that's going to give more access for the light to reach down inside the top foliage, as you can see, and give a chance for those bottom stalks and potential flower sites to stretch up to the trellis net and catch up to the main center of the plant. And that's basically what we want to do. We want it to be kind of equal and create a kind of sea of green where we have, you know, a very level plain field at the top of this trellis net before we move on. Here's the growth under the trellis net from October 13th to 16th. And as you can see, it's pretty dramatic in a short amount of time. So this is just 3 days of the growth, and it constantly going in there, moving the leaves and the branches, because you want to kind of equal them out to grow through each one of these squares. So you're basically checking in pretty much every day and moving the branches and leaves. So the LST instruction video here is basically going over what I just said, where we are constantly moving the branches under the trellis net to make sure that it's got an equal spread. But as you can see, you've got to be quite delicate. You're going to probably bruise a few leaves, and that doesn't really matter because you're going to be snipping off a lot of this foliage at some point anyway. You just want to make sure that you've got an equal spread of all of the stretching stalks and potential flower sites, that they are kind of equally spread out across this trellis net through all of the holes. That is going to involve some defoliating as well, but we're going to wait for that, and you'll see in a minute. We're also going to lollipop this plant too, but we're starting to get an equal spread here, which is good. This center section is going to grow a little bit quicker through this corner here. So I basically want all of these other shoots or stretching stalks to catch up to that center cola in the bottom left hand corner there. Here's a few little damaged leaves. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be defoliating this plant anyway, and we're going to have to lollipop her too. So a lot of these larger fan leaves at the bottom here, they're just taking up energy. We also want to kind of create a bit of ventilation and air circulation at the bottom of the plant as well. So we're going to trim off a few of the leaves at the bottom. My lollipopping and defoliation is going to be a little bit more extreme than is indicated in the video within this grow pilot. As you can see, I took her really down to some bare bones here. I really wanted the light to penetrate through and basically give a chance for all of these bottom stalks to start to stretch and grow up and catch up to that kind of canopy that I'm creating. Here's the amount of leaves that I just defoliated. It looks like quite a lot, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna grow back quickly. If I was to do another grow in this, I would definitely plant the bean further to one side of the pot at the beginning, just so that it would give me more space to stretch over that center stalk. It is growing quite quickly compared to the other stalks, as you can see, so everything will eventually level out, but you can plan a little bit better up front, maybe do some mainlining, but basically plan a better LST from the beginning. The other thing is, now I've installed this drip irrigation system, the water levels are going down way quicker, so I have to keep an eye on that. You do get notifications via the smart app, and there is a schedule for you to change out your water for basically multiple reasons, pH changes and bacteria, etc. So we're going to be mixing up a new mix of base A and base B and topping up those water levels to make sure that we've got enough to feed this plant, not only from the bottom but also from the top now. So pretty straightforward. We just remove this little compartment and tip our mix in here. There is going to be a point in time where I'm going to have to remove the trellis, the plant and the top lid for this water reservoir and clean it out entirely, but that's probably going to be another couple of weeks yet. These ladies grow back so quickly. It's crazy just how tough these plants are. They really are really strong, versatile plants. There's so much you can do with them, and if you check out some other LST and training videos online, you can just see what some people have managed to achieve with the training and just how they bounce back so quickly. So she's looking good. Her leaves are really starting to stretch up, and she's packing on a lot of sites here, as you can see. So these are going to be all potential flower sites. There's a few that are still catching up at the back here, but they would be the lower stalks on the plant. So you can see how much those have stretched and caught up to the main center stalk there as well. We are going to do some more lollipopping as we go along, but she's looking great. I am going to change a few things moving forward. Basically, the grow pilot that I've been following has been giving us 18 on and 6 off, but I'm going to change that to 24 hours light. I'm also taking the circulation fan down to 6 now that I've got the AeroWave installed, as well as the duct fan. I'm taking that down to 6 as well. So you can start to play around in the Grow Pilot. You don't have to follow the recipe that is already in there from Vivosun. You can start to mix and match your plants and your experience together and customize your own recipes. But as you can see, she's looking great, nice and healthy. The leaves are really starting to kind of fill this canopy at the top. So I'm confident she's going to plump out even more in the next day or two. It's crazy how quick they grow back. It's just insane. Look at this. This is like one day. She's really just packed these on. It's a shame that I can't fit the time-lapse camera in here anymore, but I will, maybe I'll put some thought to it and we'll see how this canopy grows in the future. I'd really like to capture a flower via time-lapse and see how that grows, but the stalk on her is getting really thick here as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with how she's growing. She's looking nice and healthy. It would have been nice to see how she grew just with the self-wicking system, but I have added the drip irrigation system, so maybe in future I will do another grow where I only use the bottom wicking system just to see if there is a huge difference, but I'm sure there's not going to be too much of a difference. It's just a nice to have with the drip irrigation. She's looking great. She's looking lush. Her leaves are looking nice and fed, and this canopy is starting to fill out nicely. So yeah, she's looking great. And as you can see, all of those other stalks and branches are starting to catch up. I don't think it's ever going to be fully equal. That center stalk is always going to be somewhat bigger. As she's growing the leaves, she's getting even thirstier and thirstier, which is normal. So I am getting notifications and I am filling up this water reservoir more often. And as you can see, it's easy to tell whether the levels are low just by this little kind of indicator there in the background, that little glass indicator. But you do get notifications via the Grow Pilot 2. So she's looking great. Really happy with the way she's coming along. Look, this is just one day's growth. It's amazing how fast these plants grow. I don't think she's going to be super tall, so it was a good choice of mine on the strain. So I would do some research on your strain before you grow in here. You do have a limit of about 36 inches in height. I don't think she's going to stretch to 36 inches. She may stretch another 12. We will see, but she will stretch some more. But I'm pretty confident that she's not going to stretch to the 36 inches. Maybe she's going to be 2 foot, which is kind of normal for an auto. With photo periods, they can stretch 2 times, 3 times the amount. So you might have to pay a little bit more attention to the LST, the topping, the lollipopping, etc. on photo periods. But yeah, she's looking great. Here she is, basically just really looking nice and lush. She's really starting to catch up at the back there. It's yeah, it's impressive. I do like this smart grow box. The more I use it, it is a different experience to using a more traditional tent. It is a little bit more hands off to a certain degree, but hands on in a different manner. So really, yeah, I'm really impressed with the way that Vivosun has thought everything out on this and put it together. It is you can see it's a well thought out, well designed little setup here. So if you are, short on space and also a beginner, I would recommend this as well, as just kind of getting that package all in one, as opposed to kind of, putting it together yourself. is a very different experience. It's kind of like driving maybe an automatic car in comparison to driving a manual stick shift car. But yeah, she's coming along nicely. You can see she's really starting to stack on some sights there at the bottom. So pretty sure she's gonna thicken up pretty quickly. So I'm hoping she turns purple. I've seen some beautiful images of blackberry moon rocks online, so I'm hoping I get a really pretty looking plant here. All right, one last look here through the magnetic observation window, which is really cool. So basically this stops any odor escaping or you interfering with the environment. She's looking great. We're going to defoliate her next week, so check back in for that episode. Again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Keep all the likes, all the comments, all the feedback coming. Thanks again to Vivosun for the VGrow Smart Grow Box. I do appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks again. Bye-bye.